to explore, and you've touched on it a little bit, the space technology program. I had the pleasure of having Dr. Bobby Braun on a couple of years ago. It was a wonderful conversation. Could you tell us about the key priorities in this area and what are the benefits derived?
Yeah, as Bobby probably told you when he came, because he was my first space chief technologist, we are really trying to capture a way to close the technological gap between where we are and where we want to be. The ultimate goal of NASA for this nation is to put humans on Mars in human exploration. Mm-hmm. We aren't ready to get there yet. We don't have everything we need to get there. There are significant technological challenges, protection and technological and medical, protecting the crew from radiation. But that is a technological challenge to defeat a medical malady, if you will. Solar electric propulsion. How do we get large enough power packages that can transport cargo for long distances to deep space? Eventually, we will want to cut down the amount of transit time. That's a little expensive for now, so you're talking about nuclear types of propulsion, nuclear thermal, nuclear electric. We know that that's where we eventually want to get. Franklin Chang Diaz, a good friend of mine, has something called VASIMR. We ideally want to have that, but it's not an advantage when you're talking about moving cargo from here to Mars. When you talk about people, yes, we need that. So we have time, but all those programs take time to develop. So we stood up the Space Technology Mission Directorate that I talked about it before as providing seed corn. It's giving us the basic knowledge we need to go off and develop the types of full-blown systems that will be resilient, reliable, and fill these technology gaps that we have. So that's the primary function of the Space Technology Mission Directorate and our Space Technology Program. Inadequately funded by the Congress, again, and no knock on the Congress, but it's just that I take the blame on not adequately explaining that there is a priority in which you do all this stuff. We need everything. We need heavy lift. We need commercial crew and cargo. We need space technology. Technology is something those are gaps we've got to fill before you can utilize all these other things. So I'll need a 130 metric ton spacecraft at some point. I can get there much better if I develop some of the technologies like composite materials for tankage that'll make it much lighter, much more resilient, different systems for guidance and navigation, optical communication, laser comm, mainly for deep space communications. It's our data limits today due to normal communications is very limited. Optical comm allows you to pack just magnitudes more data into a data stream if it's in a light beam, and so we need to be able to do that. We've experimented with optical comm, laser comm from the moon. We have a mission called LADDI that will impact the moon later this month, and we'll end that mission. But we actually have sent both voice data, and imagery from LADDI back to Earth using laser comm, and it's superb. It's internet quality, internet speed, and the like. If you look at other things, whether it's atomic clocks for timing and navigation, things that are really, really critical, not just to us, but to DOD, to the intelligence community. I'll classify all this stuff as societal needs. Our society, in order to stay on the cutting edge of leadership in exploration and just living here on Earth, we need to be developing new technologies. Water resources. How do we better manage our water resources? How do we get fresh drinking water to millions of people on the planet today? Not all of them outside the United States. Believe it or not, there are areas in the U.S. that do not have clean drinking water day in and day out. So we're developing things like recyclable water on the International Space Station. So as the crews now say, they take yesterday's coffee and turn it into tomorrow's coffee. And they find that it's okay. But those technologies are being transferred back to Earth where they are applied to societal needs. The imagery that we use to look under the surface of Mars, for water and the like, we find, boy, it is helping us discover tumors in the breasts of women who have breast cancer and the like. That's a direct technology transfer for societal needs. So we're trying to do that. And then the final thing is inspiring young people. If we want them to get interested in science, technology, engineering, and math, we've got to have really good, interesting programs that they can sink their teeth into, that they can say, I want to be a part of that. I want to go to an asteroid, or I don't want to fly. but I want to be a part of making that happen. And we find that with programs like our participation in FIRST Robotics, in FIRST Legos, Lunabotics, we have a number of programs that go all the way from kindergarten through college and postgraduate school that are challenges to students that excite them and make them get interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. And that meets critical societal needs for our country because we're 32nd in math and 26th in science right now. And I don't think we want to be there when we used to be number one. So I call those societal needs, and we're trying to meet those societal needs with our total portfolio. Aeronautics is the one thing we didn't talk about, and it's critical. The number one balance of trade item for this nation is what we sell in terms of airplanes, aircraft parts, and aeronautics. One of the biggest threats to us on this planet is the lack of clean air, noise, and other kinds of things. So we're trying to work with the FAA, with aerospace companies to create cleaner burning engines, more fuel-efficient engines, aircraft systems that will allow them to fly from point A to point B in a straight line to reduce the amount of fuel you need and also limit the overflights of land. One of the things we really would like to do, and we've got a program called Low Boom, we think that technologically you can actually divert the sonic boom from an airplane that's going at supersonic speeds away from coming down and breaking windows and have it go up into the atmosphere. You can't get rid of the sonic boom, but it doesn't have to come down to earth and break windows. And so we think through our Low Boom program we'll be able to work with aircraft manufacturers and in the next decade or so at least help the FAA make regulations that will limit, that will expand their availability of allowing airplanes to fly supersonically over land. That would open up a new market for supersonic transports, cargo craft, and the like, which the industry really wants. So those are all kinds of things we're trying to do right now.
Yeah.